play this game.
I need another heavy. I've got TB and a quick draw.
I want to get fairly tight to it. Now, anybody who's going to be working range, I'm going to need you to fade right on this. If anybody's running short, we're just going to stay towards the top of the caldera if we're going to come out.
I have you in the Griffin.
Sounds good.
Well, that's the thing. We got to get to brawling range, so I may be moving us right up to the hoop if we have to.
Wolverine nach Charlie 4.
It's fine, chill the out, man. It's fine, it's just a 5-star.
Komm, Leute, redet miteinander.
15 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Don't
fine.
die.
Guys,
15
we're
seconds,
winning
don't
kills,
die.
guys. 3, 2, 1.
Charlie Dar, CT, yellow. Okay, go to Charlie, see if we can get it.
There. To your left, there's a. Acceleration.
So, jetzt guys, hinter die Indie-Pocken.
Medium speed prepared to pull back E40 towards the E5 border. On my mark.
Left side, come on! Like now, I need strikes on OP barrels. Why are our strikes up?
Die Hauptgruppe rechts, Uferlinie.
They have 3 mechs sitting on the left side when you pass over.
Overheating is bad.
Both legs on the Griffin. Get the Griffin!
Sorry about that. That was such a
That's right. I'm gonna spawn Lance, you guys in Charlie. Lance, you guys in Bravo. That's B2C1.
This third drop is 2 lights, 2 mediums, 2 heavies, 2 assaults.
Leute in die Breite, zieht euch in die Breite.
Lights, watch our backs. We're gonna about base and take up position in Bravo 6.
Ja, kurz Aufschaltung Delta 4, 3 Stück, 2 Mediums, ein Light, wie ich es richtig gesehen habe.
Make a firing line. C4 Tactical Hill, boys. Fox.
Laufen unter ECM, hab 2 durchlaufen, 10 Bravo 4.
And get ready to hit people coming from our right.
Charlie on the left. Charlie, a Hellbringer on the left.
Okay, let's group up towards the left. We're gonna press through Bravo 3 to Bravo 4. I think they're kind of spread out. Check yourselves, make sure you've got, UAV cool shot. Here they come, they're pushing hard, guys.
Deco. Tez on.
Go. Oh, got a contact here, Bravo 3.
Nice, Marshall. I'm on Delta Griffin.
We'll get cross it then, get in their face. They got a highlighter, they just pushed up on Theta. We need help on Theta. Up on Theta. Yep, that's the noise. Go. Let's finish this. Full pressure, guys. Full pressure. They're down low. They're down low in Charlie 3. Get the fucking arm, Jackson.
Jackson, cool shot.
Cough. I got him.
Go, P3, go.
Echo, go.
Get over on your medium, guys. Get Echo Stormcrow. God, I suck as a pilot, but thank I packed my skill. I'm sorry that you died, sweet girls, but we will send a reasonably nice letter to your family.
Telemetry indicates included jet.
Roger that, Control. We'll keep walking. This is the query. We're on him. Lead the way, sir. It's a pleasure to fight with you at last.
Omega lead, ejecting. Roger, Control. Omega, this is Control. We should lift off of the next dropship. Orders?
This is Forward 3. The gantries are retracting at Gamma launch site. They're at full power and counting down to lift.
Target camera is nearly powered up. Take out the APU gadgets as soon as possible. If the dropship gets powered up, it'll bring its main guns online. Omega Left, we're getting cargo secure. As soon as we're able to live, we need to get on board as quickly as possible. Now tracking multiple targets inbound. We've got them on radar, Control. Moving to intercept. Oh no! We're... Alright.
Sound resumed.
Good evening, Mech Warriors, fans of Mech Warrior Online, and fans of Battletech. How are you this evening? Welcome to another shoutcasting of MRBC League, mrbcleague.com, twitch.tv/MRBC League, twitch.tv/MRBC League 2. Tonight, Season 9, Week 1, Asia Pacific Division A, the infamous Spud Shed versus the notorious The Cheapskates. I am El Switchblade of 54MR. My co-host tonight is Val of Vito. Val, say hi.
Hello, everyone. Good to be here. Glad to be casting again.
Fantastic. All right. So, a couple of things. We are running just a couple of minutes behind. I apologize for that. I messed up the stream key. I've fixed that problem, and we are good to go. So let's go ahead and talk about MRBC League real quick. So MRBC League, for those that do not know, is the most highly populated, private-run, quote-unquote, unofficial MechWarrior Online League that's out there. It uses a division-based system so that teams are ranked subjectively and with data bits by the admin team and a couple of other key pilots in the community to put them into groupings that are equal, of equal skill in the divisions. And as teams progress through various seasons, they are either moved up divisions as they improve themselves, or relegated down a division if they find themselves maybe in water too deep. Or for newer teams coming in, they typically get set, at the lowest division. So that's MRBC League. There are 5 drops that are played each week. Depending upon the division, you'll play anywhere between 4 and 6 games, depending upon the division again. Between 4 and 6 other teams. Apologies, 1 second. All right, it's only 6 a.m. here in the U.S., and I'm still waking up, so going to be a little off my game there. Each drop
Get on the coffee.
Yeah, right. Each drop gets progressively heavier. So you'll see in drop 1 lighter mechs, and then in drop 5 much heavier mechs. Each drop has specific bonus criteria, which we'll talk about before each drop. And then we play, the first drop is in domination game mode, and the other are on conquest game mode. So that's MRBC League. I want to go ahead and make sure that everyone watching now is aware that we will be doing 4 giveaways this evening, or this morning, depending upon where you are. After drop 2, we'll be giving away 500 MC. After drop 3, we'll be giving away an island cockpit item that is only available through a gift from Bombadil. After drop 4, another 500 MC. And after drop 5, another island cockpit item. After drop 5, we do a interview with the teams. If we still have a good audience showing, listening to the team interviews, and I'll be watching the viewer accounts, there might be another giveaway. So hang tight and let's see what happens. All right, let's talk about our teams here real quick. So team 1 this evening is Spud Shed. Now, Spud Shed is actually comprised of a few different units. They have members of EK, they have members of the 54th Mechanized Regiment Asia Pacific Division, not my team, so there is no conflict of interest here, and Val's in the TS with me, keeping me honest. We also have the former team captain of ARMD, as well as Cuddlebutt 3000 from 1st Ballard Training Cadre. So we asked the Spud Shed team, how they prepared for the season, and they started out by doing sort of a roster purge, getting rid of folks who weren't able to make the commitment that they made, and really wanting to knuckle down and get better. Last year in World Championship, EK and 54th Tsunami actually placed 5th and 6th, respectively, in the AP division. So, pretty good pilots there, right on the cusp of being at the highest level of play, in the game, right? Pretty impressive stuff there. We have some pilot stats that I want to show you guys here as well. So as you can see, this data that we're looking at is comprised of quick play data between seasons 1 and seasons 9, so about the last 8 or 9 months of quick play data. We use the Terragato algorithm to rate the pilots, and that's sort of a weighted calculation looking at win-loss record and kill-death ratios. A couple of pilots to be watching out for tonight. Obviously, Just Call Me Ash, one of the highest rated players in faction play. And then I Am Boss as well is right up there alongside him. Val, anything you want to say about these pilots or this team?
I think through my experiences with Vito, we have scrimmed them a reasonable amount in preparation for this season. They are one of our main scrim partners, and the one thing I can say about them is they've progressively been getting better and better each scrim. We've noticed a difference each time, so I really think they're up to the challenge of OMC, and I'm interested to see how they go in their first games. And just one quick thing on those stats, I will say that while stats are important, they certainly don't tell the whole picture, and I would expect to see some surprises from the play tonight.
Absolutely fantastic point to make there. Those stats are just from quick play, and a lot of times you'll see pilots that don't really spend a lot of time in quick play. Plus, quick play can be a grab bag even for the most experienced and best pilots out there.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about Team 2, the Cheapskates, otherwise known in previous seasons as OMC. They led by Live, of Battle for Midway fame. They were third place in the Division A. They've received second place in Division A and then fourth place in Division A over, I think they played in, 4th season, 7th season, and 8th season. So that's sort of their history.
That's pretty close.
Yep. When asked a few questions of Live, how they prepared for the match, anything in particular they may have done this season to get ready for it. They're not taking it too seriously this season. They're really just trying on building their team up, and we should see some new and interesting strategies from them, different mech loadouts that they're trying. They're really just trying to get ready. They did a few scrims with other AP teams, and when asked what they'd like to share with the audience watching, they'd like to thank the 5 people that are watching. And Val and myself echo that. Thank you to the 5 people that are watching. Let's pull up their stats real quick and talk about them. So we've got Salt-Inducing Agent and Kurt Cerberus as the 2 highest rated pilots for OMC. But you've also got Live up there as well, pretty high ranking. Anything, Val, that you'd like to say about these teams? Any insights you have from the AP side?
I've known Live and some of the guys in this team for a fair while. They've been around for a while, and it's hard not to play with them. I think Here is a reasonably strong pilot as well. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I've played with Serb and Here and Live on a number of occasions, and those 3 players are really, really strong. And a lot of the other names on the list, Up Romer, I've recognised, but I played with him a little bit when he was a newer player, so it'll be interesting to see how he's developed. A lot of the other names I don't recognise as much, seem to be newer additions, and it seems to be a newer team that they've put forward for MRBC this season. So again, be interesting to see how they approach this.
Fantastic insight. Thank you very much for that. So for the fans that are watching there, we're going to get started here in just a minute or two. We're starting to get the teams in the lobby now and get them ready. Go ahead and throw your predictions in channel right now. Is it going to be Spud Shed, comprised of highly successful teams in the past, pulling it out tonight, or are the Cheapskates going to live up to their name and come in with a low bid and pull this one out? So type it in chat. Let us know what you think. We'd love to see your comments and your predictions there. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and talk about Drop 1 Frozen City Domination. The title for this drop is Reconnaissance. You're dealing with 4 lights and 4 mediums. You can have a max of any 1 chassis, and you're allowed to have 1 duplicate chassis, meaning that you could have 2 Jenners in this drop, but you couldn't also have 2 Cheetahs in this drop. No streak SRMs, that would be unfair. The bonus in this drop is to destroy 5 of the enemy mechs. So even if you lose the game, if you're able to destroy 5 enemy mechs, you get a bonus in reputation points. Of note, the way MRBC League actually structures the winners and losers of each division is based upon reputation points, which is getting mech kills, meeting the bonus objectives, and winning the drops all contribute to that reputation score. So, Val, why don't you talk through some of the stuff that we see happening here in Drop 1?
Okay, so looking at the map, and I've got a few notations on there already. What's typically seen from Team 1 is taking of Alpha and Bravo spawns. That Charlie spawn really isn't used too much because it's very isolated. You'll typically see the teams Team 1 follow the blue line, set up some Overwatch maybe near the blue crosses if they choose to run an Overwatch deck, and then engage in the circle. Team 2 typically will take Alpha and Bravo spawn, but can take Alpha and Charlie. Alpha is usually lights, and they run straight into the circle and get a bit of a time advantage, forcing Team 1 to push on them. There's several positions I've marked with red X's that can be set up for Overwatch as well. And one thing to note in this map is this orange circle that I'm just drawing in here. There's a lot of terrain in that area, and there's even some hills here, and it can be very difficult to focus fire legs especially, and around that terrain, the fight can get broken up. So it can prove a tricky domination circle to fight in.
Oh, good perspective there. So we're still waiting on the teams to join, and apparently we're having some last minute mech lab nonsense going on here. I've sent out a few IMs. Let's get out of the map strat then. So Val, go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
Nope, you please.
I was just going to say it can be tricky sometimes on this drop 1 for domination. It is a much lighter drop, and sometimes people have the inclination to bring some Overwatch mechs. Now, by Overwatch mechs, I typically mean range mechs that can fire from a distance. That can unclutter the battle and make it easier for your friends to shoot at enemy targets. But those Overwatch mechs or range mechs typically have lower damage per seconds and lower alpha builds. So the advantage is trying to get a little bit of damage as the enemy approaches. But then once the enemy does approach, they're going to have a DPS advantage or a damage advantage. So trying to play with Overwatch mechs and whether people bring them to drop 1 is a tricky choice, because with having 4 mediums and 4 lights, everyone moves very, very quickly. And there is some debate amongst the community and a lot of different opinions across the divisions as to whether Overwatch mechs work or not. It'll be interesting to see what the teams decide to bring for Frozen City, which is typically obviously a much colder map, and you can really get the most out of some high heat weapons and really push the DPS very quickly at the initial stages of the match. It looks like we do have the teams in the lobby now. I'm pretty sure Switch is just sorting that out. Looks like they're forming up and sorting out their lances right now.
Yep, apologies. Looks like we had both teams accept the invites at the same time because we had some delays. We'll go ahead and call them out. It was the Spud Shed. Spud Shed was delayed in joining up, so boom.
No favoritism here.
No favoritism here. Absolutely not. I really don't like the Spud Shed guys at all.
So we've got a couple of people starting to lock lances and a bit of shuffling around still going on at the moment, but it won't be too long before we drop.
Yep, apologies for that, guys. A little bit of a mix-up in getting the teams in the lobby, so they're fixing that out, sorting it up, and we'll get going here.
What you'll also typically see is they'll group their 4 lights in the furthermost for Team 1. Typically, what would happen is you'd group 4 lights in Alpha Spawn, which is further back, and have their mediums in Bravo for quicker access down into that domination circle. Looks like both teams have. Team 1 has locked Lancers, and they are in Alpha Bravo.
Yep, waiting on Team
As
2 to get
predicted.
locked in. Yeah. One more person to ready up. Team 1 is set, holding on Team 2.
And it looks like they're going to lock into Bravo and Charlie. So I was a little bit off on that one. And it just means that the fight may happen more towards the eastern side of the map, in and around those buildings, quite possibly.
Yeah, a lot of times that
Teams,
we see that same
Sorry.
thing happen in the North American side as well. Waiting on the last ready call from the teams, and we will be dropping here just momentarily. We've got both teams out. We're moving a couple of things around real quick, then we'll be going here in just a second. Again, thanks to everyone for showing up this morning. We've got a ready call. We are Crash and Burn Mech Warriors.
Make sure not to blink, guys, because this first drop can happen very, very quickly.
Yeah, yes, it sure can.
How many viewers do we have tonight?
We are currently sitting at 44 viewers. So again, guys, stick around. If we keep that viewership number high throughout the post-game interviews with the teams, there could be a surprise giveaway. So hang tight and let's see what happens. So we've got the dropships hanging in the skies. Again, that always makes me worried because they typically, that's when the hangups happen, is watching those dropships just sort of hover.
So do you want to check out Spud Shed first up, and I'll have a quick look at the Cheapskates.
Yep, sounds
see
good.
What they're bringing.
All right, Team 1, Spud Sheds, bringing Nova, Stormcrow, Cheetah, Hunchback 4SP, Huntsman, Arctic Cheetah, Locust, and Jenner 2C. Look like they're doubling up on the Cheetahs.
And over on the Cheapskates OMC, they've doubled up on the Hunchback 4SPs with a Hunchback 2CA and a Stormcrow to fill out the mediums. And then your lights, you have Adders, Jenners, Cheetahs, and a Wolfhound.
So it looks like we've got, as predicted, Locust diving down, moving towards the Circle 4 Spud Shed, the majority of the team pushing through the 7 line into the city. On the opposing side, OMC sending the bulk of their force sort of on the line between the 7 and the 6, not really committed one way or the other. Looks like they may be holding back here, getting reconsolidated. Starting to do a little bit of shift towards the left, towards the ridgeline here. I think that's the Echo 6 area. Meanwhile, Spud Shed moving in pretty aggressively through the 7 line, starting to round the Alpha generator here momentarily.
They could get caught off guard here.
We've got First Blood exchange. Perko and the Locust taking a 6% hit from laser fire from OMC. And we've got Spud Shed coming in on the right side. I don't know that OMC sees their brawlers coming in behind him at this point.
I don't think they're aware of it. They haven't responded. They're all looking at that Locust. I think they're about to get some surprise butt sex.
I think, yeah, Spud Shed may not be aware that they're all there either. Here comes Live getting around to maybe get some eyes on. They're starting to shift. I think OMC is aware of them now, or they're pushing down, trying to get away from that positioning. Perko's still holding the Circle 4 Spud Shed.
Spud Shed may have lost their opportunity there. That was a really good opportunity to catch a mech out and possibly go one mech up real early.
I believe that OMC's running a poke deck. They're starting to back away, try to get some range, increase it from Spud Shed. Spud Shed advancing their line down the hill, over the ridge line, trying to get in close, make advantage of those brawlers. Airstrike, but not a really great hit on that airstrike. Actually, no damage appears to have been dealt out. OMC setting up with an aggressive poke position, trying to get in position, while Spud Shed continues to advance into them with those brawl mechs. I like this position for OMC. I just don't like how close they are to the edge. And now it looks like we're going to counter push brawl to brawl. Here we come. The small baguette on point coming in. Buffet down. Stormcrow down already. Spud Shed securing a kill. M at 25%. Looks like they're focusing on him from the OMC side. Another kill for Spud Shed. 2 mechs down on OMC. 1 mech down on Spud Shed. We've got a 2-1 game at this point. We've got a 3-1 game. Spud Shed securing another kill against that Hunchback.
This is really not looking good for OMC at this point.
OMC's able to get a kill, though, bringing down Chuck John in that Huntsman. We've got 3 small fights happening here right now. Spudshed's up 4-2 against OMC at this point. We got a 2-on-2. Percentages are definitely in favor of Spudshed. Ash pulling down another pilot. We have a 5-on-2 at this point. That Live's about to go down in that cheetah, down to 38%. Ash is 44%. Hopefully they can get Ash down. OMC securing a kill, getting themselves another set of rep points. Good job, guys. And one more down on the OMC side.
Live is still floating around at 38%. I imagine they've just ignored him because he must be a bit of a stick at the moment, or with only one small pulse. Looks like they're focusing on Serb. I'm not sure how much more Serb can actually do with those. I think it looks like medium pulses or medium lasers at this close range.
And Mecker bringing down Serb, leaving Live left on the field with that one small pulse laser. Let's see if he can last. Oh, unfortunately not. Perko able to secure the kill. We have an 8-3 game in favor of Spudshed. What a fun fight that was to watch. I do think, to your point, that Spudshed may have been able to end this a little bit earlier than they did. Kudos to OMC for recognizing the brawl coming in and advancing and trying to get that line set up. Val, why don't you talk to us about the scores we're seeing here?
Yeah, so I guess Serb did do a lot of damage in that adder. He was probably the star of the show for OMC, but he was the last left alive, and that is what you'd expect from the last mech. I think a good MVP really, I think, needs to go to MRBC, because that Nova stayed alive for so long. A really good job tanking and absorbing damage. I think I saw it drop to under 20%, and that just keeping that mech up and stalling out your enemy's first kill can really give you a big advantage. Ash, of course, did very well in that Stormcrow as well. Same with the Jenna, the Splat Jenna, Better New. Again, those are the mechs that you expect to be doing a lot of work. But MU80s did a really good job staying alive in that first mech that OMC were focusing.
And again, this is something you called out early at the beginning with the stats, right? If you look at the stats from the game, Emeritus wouldn't have gotten good statistics on a leaderboard with the damage that he did, but the play that he did was a significant contribution to the victory that his team was able to secure.
Correct.
Yeah, someone
in his cockpit, so it was a little bit tricky to say exactly what was going on, but I was watching the percentages, and he did a good job spreading that damage.
So, game 1, drop 1, goes to Spudshed at 350 reputation points to the Cheapskates 75 reputation points. Let's go ahead and get the map started up, and Val, why don't you talk to us through what we saw there?
So we had Alpha and Bravo spawn, and we had a Locust run down and just hold the circle, and acted as a little bit of a decoy and held the circle. We had OMC shift in from these spawns and take a position in and along this entrance here, this G6 entrance. This is my personal favorite entrance. It's a little bit clearer, and you don't get as caught up in that Fox 6 entrance. While that was going on, we had the main body from Spudshed sneak down and sit in these buildings. And I think they had an excellent opportunity here. They really could have surprised OMC and dropped a mech before they knew what was going on. But they kind of paused there, a little bit uncertain, maybe not believing what they saw was true. It gave OMC the ability to reset and switch over to the other side to use some of their longer range poke mechs in and around this section here. And the brawl then happened in this section of the map. And it was a very quick kill to Spudshed. And usually in these matches, especially when your other mediums are typically focused first, and if you can keep your first medium up alive for as long as possible and drop off 1 or 2 of their mediums, that really does start a snowball that's very difficult to pull back. So a very, very strong win in the opening match for Spudshed. The next map we will see, if I'm not mistaken, is HPG Manifold, which also then switches to Conquest.
That is absolutely correct. So as we move into drop 2, HPG Manifold Conquest, as my stalwart companion Val just shared with us, the title of this drop is Recon in Force. You're dealing with 2 lights, 4 mediums, 2 heavies. Again, max of any 1 chassis, 1 duplicate chassis allowed, meaning you could run 2 Warhammers, but you could also not run 2 Griffins on the same team. Again, the bonus for drop 2 is to destroy 5 enemy mechs. And we are dealing with a different game mode now. So in drop 1, it's domination, get to the circle, secure the circle, and then typically it devolves into a fight. When we get into the conquest game mode, especially on a map like HPG where you've got capture points split across terrain features, the cap points actually start to play a point here. Val, what are some of the things that you expect to see from these teams or things that you may have done to approach this drop?
I think typically from Team 1, they have better access to the walls. I don't think that's a big secret, and they can get up to the walls from here and through and along there relatively easy, and then they can jump over there. So from Team 1, you typically see the wall being used in some degree or another, whether it's only 1 or 2 over mechs with longer range set up on the walls, or whether it's the whole team. The strategies can vary a lot. Team 2 does have some access to the walls, but it's a little bit more difficult and it takes a little bit longer to get up there. And the jump to the wall back here is very difficult to make. So typically you don't see too much from the walls from Team 2, and they usually roll through an Alpha and Charlie and roll through into the enemy, and they can set up in various different ways with either mid-range or brawl. And it's a little bit harder from Team 2 to predict what they're going to do because there's just a few more difficulties in drop planning. But Team 1, you'll definitely, well, I won't say definitely, but most likely you'll see to some degree or another that D6 Echo 7 wall being used.
Well, Val, we're looking at a 25-ton disparity here. Spudshed's going 25 tons lighter than what it appears that OMC is bringing. OMC isn't locked in yet with their selections. I don't think they're going to change. It appears they're just making lance changes. With that tonnage disparity, do you see maybe something different, or would that help inform how you think these teams might approach this drop?
Team 1 is OMC
is Spudshed, and they're 25 tons lighter, or 15 tons lighter, sorry.
That's difficult for me to really recognize a pattern there.
Okay, no worries, man. It's with the mechs that you're dealing with, the stable of mechs that exist out there. There's many different ways that can unfold for either team. Team 2 is getting locked in here, and we'll get going here in just a moment, folks. Again, want to let everyone know that after this drop, we'll do our post-game analysis, and we will be doing a giveaway. So make sure you're in the lobby. We'll collect the names right after the drop. I'll pull all of them in. We'll do the giveaway tool. If you've got friends that play MechWarrior online, maybe they're just hanging out or they don't play very often, get them in the lobby. Get them in there. Let's get a giveaway. Let's give 500 MC away, and let's reward our community for getting involved and helping us make these casts successful. Team 2 is set. We are going to go live, crash, and burn Mech Warriors. Again, want to thank MRBCLeague.com, Twitch.tv/MRBC League, Twitch.tv/MRBC League 2 for making this possible. Want to appreciate my co-caster Val for, well, I'm waking up early, but he's just up doing a normal Sunday night probably. But thanks for coming away from your family on Easter to join us here and help get this cast going.
Yeah, man, no problems. It's spent the Easter day today with my family, and tonight is just relaxation with the public holiday tomorrow.
Fantastic. All right, we got the dropships hovering, hoping that they'll continue their drop into the moon's surface here.
Let me get in a good position. I will check out OMC again if you want to check out Spudshed initially for builds and mechs.
All right, Spudshed bringing a Nightjar, Arctic Cheetah, Nova, Spider, Huntsman, Shadowcat, another Nightjar, and a Hunchback 2CA. So doubling up with the Nightjars from Spudshed. I believe that we're going to have a poke deck from Spudshed.
Okay, and OMC seems to double up on their Hunchback 2CAs, which is one of them's Laser Vomit, and we've got a Nightjar and a Timberwolf as well for the heavies. So I would expect some more poke and mid-range, possibly long-range from OMC as well. I've also got a Stormcrow, a Hunchback 4SP, a Jenna 2CA, and an Arctic Cheetah. So maybe some brawl blockers with some mid-range and heavy Overwatch.
As predicted, Team 1's taking to the wall already. We've got the Nightjars, Huntsman, and the Nova trying to do a jump across and get set up on the northeast corner of the walls here.
We also have a couple of mechs moving up on the walls from OMC as well.
Shots
and a Nightjar.
Yeah, shots fired. Looks like Small Baguette trying to get out some PPC fire. Solid hits on Pete's zone in his Nightjar. First blood going to Spudshed. Pete taking another 1% damage. Oh, another 2% damage. Not a lot of damage with each hit, but cumulatively, those do add up. He's down below 90% at this point. Really needs to start making a move out of that line of fire.
So OMC are just starting to move through their gate. They had initially, I think they were waiting for a brawl push, see if it was coming in, and now they know they're relatively safe. They're moving out into the main area of HPG. With these wall strats, it's about control of those cap points to put pressure on your enemy to move. So now with Theta uncapped, Theta becomes really the pivotal place to try and swing and get in your favor early. And it looks like OMC are doing that. They're sending most of their main force under Theta to try and take control of that, swing the cap game in their favor, and make Spud Shed move forward and commit towards them.
Spud Shed starting a northern rotation around the wall, maybe to get better angles on those doors. As you said, OMC is hunkered down in the basement. OMC still has a hunchback on the wall, likely providing overwatch for his team. He's taken a little bit of fire back, but it's, again, at that range, it's not, each hit in and of itself isn't highly damaging, but they do add up quickly.
So just off to the west a little bit, Live had seen the Spider running towards its cap point with the other Arctic Cheetah. So Live is aware they're taking caps, and he's running after them, and it looks like there's going to be a bit of an engagement. But Live is relatively alone. Oh, he's got a second mech coming in now for support. The Jenna 2CA is coming to back him up. So we've got a 1v1 duel. The two cheetahs. And now the Jenna 2CA is about to get in on the action. Better New has taken a little bit of damage. He's come off second best there. Now the Spider is there to help against the Jenna as well, but
and we've got
both retreating.
In Live's cockpit watching him take this cap point. I was unable to get into the brawl specifically. Live moving off of the cap point, trying to circle around and maybe link up with the Jenner. Meanwhile, we've still got the majority of the Spud Shed team holding the wall, the majority of the OMC team underneath the basement. Live and Ranger Dave rotating to the south in Sigma. We might have a fight here.
You'll see a light fight here. They're going to contest this Sigma. They can't lose the advantage of caps.
So here we got Ranger Dave and Live coming in. Ranger Dave a little bit ahead of Live. Ranger Dave down 4%. Looks like we've got a one-on-one fight here. Better New and Unending trying to focus on the Jenner, but Live getting in the backfield. 65% down on Better New. Good fire by Live. He's legged. They're about to take his leg. OMC scoring the first kill against Spud Shed. That Spider's going to go down here in just a moment. He may be able to take that Jenner with him, but we've definitely seeing the advantage shift towards OMC at this point. Airstrike down on the cap point.
The Spider needs to withdraw. He can't fight 2v1.
The Jenner has been legged.
The Jenner.
So Live is likely going to pursue the Spider while Jenner 2C secures the Sigma cap point.
So now the Spider can turn around and poke with LPL back at Live, and he will be sort of avoiding the optimum range of Live's small pulse. If the Spider plays this right, he might be able to take out Live and chip him down over time. But it's an uphill battle. He is a bit lower on those percentages. And he's just been legged.
Oh, he's been legged. That is going to be the end of him. Live securing the kill. The lights for Spud Shed out of the fight. Now we go to the main body here. The Spud Shed mechs taking some significant damage on these. Oh, Emiratus goes down. Good shot. Perko at 59%, Ash at 76%. Now, the OMC mechs also pretty low on percentages, but I think overall the damage advantage is in OMC's favor at this point. Spud Shed detecting that they are down on mechs, down on caps, down on damage. They've got to do something, and they start to it.
They do, but they need to make sure that their weaker mechs don't take the lead on this push. They definitely need to make a play because they've lost their two lights, which will lose cap control, but they do not want to lead in underneath because with their weaker mechs, because OMC does have a couple of those brawl mechs, which they haven't seen, the Stormcrow, the 4SP. I think they're about to get a bit of a surprise underneath.
And here we go, watching Perko's cockpit as they move into the basement. Shifting into the right. Perko got 4 mechs in front of him.
Oh, there's a lot of low mechs, a few lucky shots, and this can swing.
Ash bringing down Kakasnaktigo. Kerber is killing Mick and Perko. Kato killing Pete Zone.
They got to drop that Timberwolf and that Stormcrow to even this up as quickly as possible.
And we got Small Baguette coming in now. Rumblebee is able to bring down Ash. We've got 4 OMC mechs in the basement, 2 left for Spud Shed, and that's game going to end here momentarily. Wolfspine Vickers and the Huntsman.
we had the live running around the outside getting capped. So even if that main body fight was lost, Spud Shed would have been really up against the wall trying to decap and beat a light at capping.
Absolutely, without their lights. Wolfspine doing a hell of a job staying alive with 4 mechs firing at him. Boba Fett able to secure the kill. The game goes to OMC. We are looking at an 8-3?
8-2?
8-2. 8-2 game here in favor of OMC. OMC securing the win. Val, talk us through those scores. Call out a play of the game.
The play of the game absolutely has to go to OMC's lights. They were pivotal in that light fight, getting the early kill and then legging the spider as he was running away. That really put a lot of pressure on Spudshed to make some moves and make some plays. The trading, I think, was about even across the main bodies as I was watching percentages, but really live in that cheetah did a good job at taking both legs and Ranger Dave. In that light fight, I do think the Spudshed lights made the right decision to target the Jenna 2CA. It has that as initial target. Maybe not going for a leg, maybe going for CT would have been better. It has a massive CT, and if they had switched to CT, they might have been able to drop it quicker. I would question the Spider 5K light choice if they're going to go for a cap strat, mainly because it's not quite as strong in 1v1 light brawls as opposed to some of those small pulse mechs, in my opinion. But definitely live play the game.
So you heard it here, guys. Great breakdown by Val. We are looking at a 1-1 Spudshed versus Cheapskates. Season 9, Division A, Asia Pacific.
That was a really, really fun match, and I open up the map strat and clear this out and do a quick breakdown of what we saw. So we had a couple of OMC, the Hunchback and the Nightshade, take this wall position up here and begin trading, while most of Spudshed really spread out. Initially, they were clustered in this V section, but then spread out along that D6 Echo 7 wall as sort of expected because it is a very strong position. OMC then saw they were on the wall and made the absolutely right call, which was to push underneath from their Charlie spawn and take Theta. They had been waiting back behind the wall there in Charlie just in case they were going to get a brawl push straight to their spawn. That didn't happen. They then took Theta, which gave them the cap advantage, forcing the Spudshed lights to then try and take Kappa and Sigma. And that's where the light fight happened. Live and Ranger Dave followed them out, engaged them, and beat them in a 2v2 light fight. And that kind of, regardless of what had happened with the main body, even if it had swung in the other way, I think taking out the lights on this map and then going around and capping would kind of secures your win to a certain extent there. So that was a breakdown of what just happened.
Awesome. All right. So as promised, we are going to go into a giveaway here. 500 MC. So let me get the tool up, load in the names, and we will do a roll for the giveaway. All right. So go to giveaway. Bring up the latch tool. Takes a second to show this on screen sometimes. All right. Add viewers. And then I'll take myself out of this list. All right, that is the list of names. We'll give it another 5 seconds. I had just told the teams that are playing that we were doing a giveaway. Want to give them a chance to load in. So let's give them another 5 or 10 seconds, and we'll reload this. Great breakdown of the map there, Val. Doing a great job of co-casting, man. We're bouncing off of each other. I think we'll be doing more of these this season if you're up for it, bud.
Yeah, man, this is good fun. I've wanted to do it for a long time, but haven't known anyone that can cast because of Oceanic Internet isn't necessarily the greatest for uploads, and I can't really stream on my own. But just being involved, it's good. I enjoy MechWarrior a lot, and I'm glad to be involved.
All right, guys, so we are loading here, and let's go ahead and start the animation. I have turned the volume down to 1%, so it should not blow anyone's eardrums out. All right, we are rolling. Unending Menace winning 500 MC. Unending Menace, shoot me a message after the drop, and I will send you that code for 500 MC. Thank you for your participation in tonight's Shoutcast. All right, Val.
And in the game.
And in the game as well, yeah. Let's go ahead and shift to drop 3. Drop 3. Crimson Strait. Conquest. Commander Assassination. We're dealing with 3 mediums, 4 heavy, 1 assault at 85 tons, 1 duplicate chassis. Again, you can have 2 of the same heavy, but you cannot also have 2 of the same medium. The bonus on this one is to destroy the enemy assault mech and make sure that your assault mech survives. So you've got to kill the enemy commander while saving your own enemy commander. Again, as we talked about last cast, you'll see teams get a little bit more cagey with that commander mech as you progress through the season, because that's an easy set of bonus points to secure. Early on in the season, you might see those mechs more on the front lines, really taking the brunt of the damage, leading, because it is an 85-ton assault mech, so it can put out some damage. But later on, every reputation point counts. Currently, we're dealing 1-1. The Cheapskates up 425 to Spudshed's 400. We do ranking. Winner and loser is determined by that reputation point. So it's still anyone's game at this point, not just because the drops, but because the reputation points are so close. Val, why don't you walk us through Crimson Strait and what we might expect to see from these teams this evening?
So Team 1 being Spudshed, I would typically expect to see them spawn in Bravo and Charlie. Unless you're trying a really funky out there type catch them by surprise strat that Alpha Spawn doesn't seem to get used, what you'll typically see is what I've typically seen so far is range mechs that will initially stage on this Delta 5 overlook here, and if they're not brawl, they will then move up and stage in these D4 buildings. You can brawl from Team 1 as well, that does work. Brawl, if executed properly, can work from both drops or both sides in this drop. Team 2, the Lancers can vary a little bit, but they're close together, so it doesn't really matter. You did see in our veto game against 228 the other day that a brawl push is possible, although maybe ill-advised. We didn't quite win that one, but you can brawl push straight through the water, get up into that theta area and fight in and around that D5 section. OMC is typically known for their range game though, and Team 2 is afforded some really strong range positions, especially over here on the island, even further back, and they can get up and set up some positions even along here and up on this section of the map here, especially up in here in these rocks there as well as some good spots for range mechs, and they can take a relatively commanding position of the map with the range mechs in those positions.
Fantastic breakdown. And again, you mentioned the island. So for those listening, we will be doing a giveaway after this drop, and it is the island cockpit item. That's a cockpit item that only Bombadil can give out. So it's a very rare cockpit item, and it's pretty cool. RJ Base had done a couple of those giveaways yesterday on his cast, and it's a nice cockpit item. We have both teams ready to go. Go ahead, sorry.
Correct. I was just going to say we've got both teams locked in and ready to go.
All right, so we are Crash and Burn Mech Warriors.
And now, of course, they have proven me wrong, and Team 1 has locked into Bravo and Charlie, which... Oh, no, that is correct. That is correct. Bravo and Charlie, as predicted.
And we're dealing again with a weight disparity here. The Cheapskates, 25 tons heavier than what Spudshed is bringing to the table. Curious if this means that Spudshed's going to focus on more of a cap game, with the Cheapskates focusing more on either a poke deck or a brawl deck, depending upon how they move in these initial make these initial movements.
I would really, I think, see range stuff from OMC. They've got a really strong position to take and set up and hold with range, and they are typically known as a long-range ER large laser favored team.
So we've got both dropships hovering in now. This delay always worries me. These container ships, I've never actually looked at them out there in the water. That's cool. All right, Team 1, Spudshed, bringing in a Timberwolf, an Ice Ferret, Cicada, Orion 2C, the Onichan, a Marauder 2C is their commander mech, a Viper, and double Summoners. Looks like they might be going with a bit of a cap/brawl deck. What do we got on the Cheapskate side?
For the Cheapskates, we have 2 Grasshopper 5Ps, which I'm guessing will be our large laser. That's typically what they're used for. A Nightshare and a Mad 2C. So I'm guessing more range. And we have Hunchback 2CA, a Huntsman, a Timberwolf, and a 4SP. So they don't have any faster mechs to try and grab and steal caps. I'd expect a much more static take caps and hold strategy.
All right, so we've got First Blood going to the Cheapskates, scoring a hit on that Ice Ferret, better new. Spud Shed securing Theta, moving more towards the Delta 5 area. We've got some mechs from the Cheapskates taking the Kappa platform. Bulk of their mechs are sitting on the island, throwing out that PPC fire.
The 4SP for OMC for the Cheapskates is actually a laser vomit setup with large and medium lasers.
Going for that skirmish range there.
Yeah, it's not a common build that you see, but it is quite strong with the quirks.
So we got Spudshed hunkering down here in the pond, the Delta 5 area. Cheapskates maintaining that Kappa overwatch from the platform, and then 4 mechs sitting out on the island. Got a good keeping them off Epsilon. The Spudshed team still has not yet secured Epsilon. I don't know if they're waiting to do that or if they're scared to take the shots. Let's go poke in over here.
They do have a mech sitting out near Epsilon, and I think he's aware they've got Overwatch from the island, so he doesn't want to run out and take it. You are quite vulnerable if you do try and take that while people are looking. They might be waiting to try and get some shots in and distract the main body before the Cicada moves in.
Yeah, he is at 92%, so he has already taken some damage. You might be absolutely right. We've got 2 mechs looking his direction, so he's going to be a bit cagey, I think, at taking that.
So OMC have a very commanding position. They must have rehearsed this. I know they like this map a lot in quick play. They know the strengths of this map and how to set up range. They're really spread out and well positioned on the platform and on the island.
Yeah, they've got good crossfire set up on that Delta 5 area. Right now, Spudshed does have a bit of a cap point lead. Neither team in any rush to make a mistake here at this point. I think what we're dealing with here is both teams understanding that the first team to make a mistake at this point with the positions and the cap spread will decide the game.
So Spud should have double summoner and an Orion 2C, which are brawl builds, and I'm assuming the Mad 2C is a brawl build as well, sitting there waiting just behind Theta. So they definitely have a surprise brawl strat. They're going to wait for Theta to be capped, and then they're going to run in and try and take out those 2 mechs.
And we've got movement from Spudshed. Here we go. Yeah. Spudshed advancing across the pond, moving towards Theta, taking some fire from the high left, but they are moving commandingly towards Theta. Down in percentages already in the 80s, most of those mechs.
The approach they took was mostly shielded from the island, which would allow them to get onto these 4 mechs very quickly and without taking too much damage.
Yeah, they are pushing the top platform.
I'd expect to see that Hunchback JK Fletcher to drop very quickly.
60%, 56%. The Summoner Mecha Vic's taking some significant damage on the way through, though. Hunchback needs to get off that top platform, but I don't think he's going to make it. Goes down. Wolfspawn Vicar securing the kill.
Their Summoners have taken a lot of damage, though, both down to 58%.
We've got a 2-on-1 situation in the basement, joining the 3rd mech now, ending Menace Command. A 4th mech, a 5th mech coming in. That Timberwolf's just about to go down. Timberwolf goes down. However, Pete Zone's able to kill Cicada. Perko going down. It's a 2-on-1 situation at this point.
I think here, the Huntsman for OMC has lost the torso as well.
We've got here, right here, Huntsman getting chewed up by multiple angles.
He's about to drop as well.
Down to 21%. He goes down. Unending Minutes able to secure the kill. Now the Spudshed is starting to advance towards the island. We've got a mech on the own in the water.
They have to push the island. They need to use the peaks on that island to block out fire from one side or the other. They've got a lot of mechs that are beat up, but and they've lost a couple of mechs themselves. But they've got
Rommel's shutting down. Better new and Rommel 1-on-1 situation. Kakasur Techno killing Chuck. We're at 3-on-3 at this point. Both teams having lost 3 mechs. Again, Spudshed down significantly in damages. A lot of unhurt mechs on the Cheapskate side.
But they will be heat capped. They do have long range and they've been firing for a while, so I expect the DPS to drop off as they move back away from the island. That Ice Ferret needs to finish off, Better New really needs to finish off Rommel very quickly and then start going and getting a bit more of a cap advantage.
Ash going down, another kill for the Cheapskates. The Cheapskates now up 4 kills to 3 kills. Grasshopper's about to go down. Wolfspine securing the kill on mine.
Grasshopper.
Pete Zone getting a kill on Emiratus. 5 dead for Spud Shed, 4 dead for the Cheapskates. Nightjar is about to go down. He's got 2 mechs pushing on. Both of those mechs, though, sub 50.
And that Nightjar is very fresh. I'd expect him to survive this unless he makes a mistake.
He's down to 69%, able to take out Wolfsman Vickers. Unending Menace with the machine guns and small pulse, trying to burn him down. He goes down. 1 mech left.
So it is just that Ice Ferret. Better new at 45%, so I'm imagining he's lost some arms and he's probably down on weapons as well. Yes, he's lost both arms, so he's probably only down to 1 small pulse. I'm not sure there's much he can do from this position. OMC are going to spread out, take some caps, and finish off that last remaining mech.
Yep, better new, trying to secure. Looks like we have a roster issue happening. We'll deal with that after the match, though. Talk about it in a second. Better new taking a PPC shot at 426.
He needs to run and stay alive. He's got both his torsos, so he can actually move at full speed. They are open. If he can stay alive and just let these caps tick over, I don't think it will be enough, but it's worth a shot.
Yeah, unfortunately, reputation point isn't given based upon how many caps you're able to secure or your final conquest score. It is based upon the win or lost in regards to that. So, better new, trying to do the best that he can, stay alive, keep this game going. But to your point, with a team of mechs that are still moving around, taking back caps from him, he is going to be at a significant disadvantage to try to get that cap lead back.
Absolutely. I really don't think there's much he can do. With 4 mechs from OMC, they can basically send 1 mech to each cap point and not be too concerned about Ice Ferret with 1 small pulse. The Ice Ferret is a strong mech, and it does have a fair bit of punch when it gets in close, and a bit more armor than your lights, kind of like a bit of a pseudo light, but the disadvantage being very similar to a cheetah in that it's very easy to disarm them, and once they lose their arms, they aren't much of a threat.
Yeah, walking around with that 1 small pulse later, trying to move to Epsilon to get that cap. Even if he's able to get that cap with a 4 cap from the Cheapskates at this point, they're going to start ticking above Spud Shed here in about 15 seconds. And it's just not going to be enough for Better New to bring it back. Still want to congratulate him on his attempt to keep going here and not just rushing in and dying. It is appreciated. We'd like to see everyone fight until the very last here with their 1 small pulse laser. I imagine as if it's the middle of a firefight and you've run through all your ammo and you're sitting in your foxhole with your knife clenched between your teeth just waiting for the fight to make it to you.
So Serb and Better New kind of ran past each other, but he's picked the wrong cap point because Serb is still at 99%. He didn't take any damage whatsoever, and now he's noticed the point he just capped is being decapped and heading straight back there to try and finish off that Ice Ferret.
Yeah, that ER large grasshopper is going to move in, throw some lasers, and probably kill Better New in 1 or 2 volleys here. Better New down 38%. His 1 small laser, putting some scratches on Serb. Good for him. Serb down to 97%. Better New losing another component. Oh, Serb shutting down momentarily, and Better New goes down from the PPC shot from Pete at range.
Bit of a noob mistake.
Good game. 8-4. The win goes to the Cheapskates. Fantastic fight unfolding here. Val, why don't you run us through the scores and what you saw?
I guess the Overwatch mechs from OMC. I mean, look at the damages, very even between them. Live was the first to go down in those Overwatch mechs. That's why it's a bit lower, but 632, 616, 614 for those Overwatch mechs. They were worth their weight in gold, and they did their job. From the Spud Shed side, their Mad 2C did a whole bunch of damage as well, nearly 600 damage. That's a really good performance from MRBC again. A second time in a match, he's probably been MVP on their team. So I think we've got a little bit of a sleeper player in their side. But OMC, that Overwatch position from Ireland was just too strong and executed too well.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. Let me switch back to the intro lobby here.
When you've got the map set up, let me know, and I'll do a bit of a breakdown of that match and how it played out.
So we've got Cheapskates ahead 2-1 against Spud Shed, 775 rep to 500 rep on the Spud Shed side. let's bring up the map strat and have our friend Val talk to us about what he saw unfold.
So we had from OMC 4 mechs take the platform in some prearranged positions behind buildings, and it was a relatively strong setup with the Grasshoppers, the Nightshare, and the Mad 2C spread out on this island ridge here, and I think there were a couple over here, and they moved around a bit. What we saw from Spudshed is they had their brawlers stage right behind here, while they had some Cicada going for a cap over at Epsilon and waiting, and they were basically waiting. They ran in, took that Theta cap nice and early, and then they were waiting for OMC to commit to it, and then they were going to rush them with brawlers. And that did end up happening, and they got some kills. But it basically gave free reign to OMC's Overwatch mechs on Island to basically go to work and not have to worry about watching their backs, and that really paid off for them. I think maybe Spudshed needed to find a way to assault that island, whether it be in a split push and run their brawlers around the back here and then assault the island through this way with their brawlers, while they have some lighter mechs that are harder to hit via range, engage the guys up on the platform. But needed to adapt the strategy a little bit for OMC's setup in that match, I think. But OMC, good win.
Fantastic breakdown yet again, Val. That push across that water, I think it was just a little too wide and not decisive enough, and hoped maybe they didn't take as much damage on the platform trying to burn through those two mechs. Huge kudos to those two mechs on the platform for staying alive as long as they did. That delay there, I think, ultimately is what cost Spudshed the game. So we are going to do another giveaway. This time it is the Island Cockpit item. Again, this is something that Bombadil gives out to pilots, so it is a very rare cockpit item. We'll load in the giveaway tool and start the roll. While it's rolling, I just want everyone to know I'm going to step away and refill my coffee, so we might have a slight 10 to 15 second delay while that happens. Apologies for that, but I need my coffee. So let's get the giveaway tool up on screen. Clear the list, add the viewers. Loading in the names. Remove myself from that. And we are rolling for the giveaway. Again, this is a cockpit. The island is the name of the cockpit item, which I think is appropriate, right? Australia is an island, isn't it?
It's a pretty large continent, I'm pretty sure.
All right, let's start the roll up. Juice still winning the giveaway there, the island. Juice still send Switchblade a message via Twitch so that I can get your in-game name and pass it on to Bombadil to get you that cockpit item delivered. All right, Val, let's look at what we have happening here. Drop 4, Caustic Valley. Caustic Valley is referred to as the flank engagement. We're dealing with 2 lights, 2 mediums, 2 heavies, 2 assaults. Max of any one chassis, 1 duplicate allowed. The bonus here is to destroy the heavy and assault mechs from the opposing team. You must kill all 4 of those mechs to secure the bonus. For those just joining, this is Season 9, MRBCLeague.com, Division A, the highest division in our Asia-Pacific region. Week 1 game, Spudshed versus the Cheapskates. The Cheapskates currently up 2-1 over Spudshed with 775 reputation points to 500 reputation points on the Spudshed side. Again, winners and losers are dictated by the total reputation points. Spudshed not out of the game yet, but they do need to get themselves some kills on this. Val, walk us through what we see happening on Caustic Valley Conquest in Drop 4.
So Caustic Valley Conquest is an interesting map to play out on. You can't really control 3 cap points at once, and it makes for a bit more of a dynamic match. I expect from Team 2, OMC, they like their ranged Overwatch type stuff, and Team 2 is really set up to make use of this sort of section of the map here, which has some big hills and good sight lines over the rest of the map. Depending on which spawns Spudshed take will depend on which side they assault that on. They kind of have a few options, whether it's just to go around this way, or cut straight through the Caldera. I don't believe from Team 1 there's as strong a position as what that Delta 6 Echo 6 position is on Caustic for Team 2. So Team 1 might have a slightly harder time on this map, but let's see how Spudshed do.
All right, both teams getting ready, almost done here. For those following along, we will be doing another giveaway after this drop. Another 500 MC will be handed out as we get ready for drop 4. Team 1 is locked in, ready to go in their lances. Team 2 locked in their lances. Last pilot's getting set, double checking his team, making sure they're ready to go. This is the point where the game turns. Spudshed bringing this win will keep them in the game. If Cheapskates is able to bring this win out, it's almost mathematically impossible for Spudshed to take the win. However, securing enough rep points will aid them through the rest of the season. The pressure is on for Spudshed at this point to bring this win home. Now we've got Team 1 and Team 2 both locked in. We are ready to go. Crash and burn mech warriors. Oh, and we have a mech unreading at the last second there.
So just while we are waiting for the re-ready, we see Spudshed taking Bravo and Charlie spawn, which are the Team 1 spawns on the southern side of the map. And we see 4 mechs locked in Charlie for OMC Cheapskates, which is again that southern Echo 6 position. So I expect to see those 4 mechs moving straight onto that hill into Echo 6. And we probably will see some more combat in the southern section of the map.
A bit of a turnabout here. Spudshed now actually having a weight advantage over the Cheapskates on this drop. You'll recall previously in drops 1, 2, and 3, the Cheapskates bringing more weight to the field than Spudshed brought to the field. All right, let's get this on Mech Warriors. Having a hell of a time with you tonight, Val. Thanks again for joining. Thanks, everyone, for watching. It looks like we hit almost 60 viewers, way more than the 5 that Live had predicted.
That is awesome. I'm glad people are tuning in and listening to me.
They're here for you. You've got the tactical knowledge. You've got that beautiful smile on your face.
Yeah, we'll try and get that camera working for next time.
Absolutely, man. My apologies for not making it, being able to get it to work. I will work out that bug.
All good.
Still waiting on the dropships to come in for both teams here. We have dropship movement. All right, Spudshed bringing to the field Nightgyre, Hunchback 2C, Direwolf, Arctic Cheetah, Ice Ferret, Kodiak, Jetter 2C, and a Nightgyre. Doubling up on the Nightgyres yet again for Spudshed.
And over on the Cheapskate side, they're doubling up on the Nightgyres. It's such a strong mech, and I agree with that decision wholeheartedly. 2 Nightgyres, a Mad 2C, and a Kodiak, with the mediums being a Hunchback 2C and a Stormcrow, and a Cheetah and a Jenner 2C for their lights.
Cheapskates doing a north rotation, capturing Sigma, moving towards Capwood. Looks like potentially 3 mechs. 3 mechs setting up down on the southeast corner for the Cheapskates. Meanwhile, Spudshed side sending 2 mechs in rapidly to Theta, 3 mechs to Theta. The bulk of their forces moving southeasterly towards Epsilon. Huge damage advantage right now to the Cheapskates, scoring significant hits on Vicar. However, Kakasuro on the Cheapskate side down to 91%.
So the Spudshed are really kind of peppering the Cheapskates on that hill as they're moving up. There's a lot of DACA going backwards and forwards.
I still think the damage advantage, though, is in favor of Cheapskates. Perko and Mecker Vickers both down below 90, sub 90 at this point. 2 mechs sub 90 on the Cheapskate side.
Oh, I think OMC are taking that damage advantage back.
I think so as well. Now we've got 3 mechs sub 90 on the Spudshed side, only 2 mechs sub 90 on the Cheapskate side. Unending Menace and that Hunchback taking some serious hits. Spudshed now putting out damage. We've got 1 mech sub 80, another 2 mechs below 90 now. Cheapskates starting to rotate to the right, moving to the northeast corner of the map. Spudshed starting to circle in behind it from the southwest.
There is a light moving in behind, which is here in that Arctic cheetah behind the main line, but it looks like he's just going to shoot at Theta. He's backed off from the Spudshed main body.
Yeah, we've got the two lights harassing Cheapskates here, however, not doing enough, slowing down their advance while Spudshed maybe tries to move in from the left side here. Damage advantage is still in favor of Cheapskates. We're seeing mechs in their 70s, but I believe those are arm hits, so not as impactful. Lots of UAVs up. I count 6 UAVs in the sky. That is impressive.
It's important to note there's absolutely no caps for Spudshed. They're relying on their push to work, and they're going to have to make something happen.
They've reformed their ball. They're starting to move forward. Ash on the point in the Direwolf. Ooh, unloading on Emiratus' back. Marauder 2CD down to 44%. They're pushing hard.
Right into a kill zone. They're pushing right into a kill zone. This is not. I don't think this is going to end well for them.
Emiratus overextend on the right-hand side down to 58%. Meanwhile, Ash getting jumped by a Stormcrow in the back, stalling the brawl. Stormcrow goes down.
And Kaku is down to 25%. That's huge. It's almost a strip mech, I would imagine.
Kaku down to 20%. M at 43%. Mechrovicker's at 45%. The brawl is definitely stalled from Spudshed. Cheapskates pulling back. Kaku getting a kill on Emiratus. It's 1-1 at this point.
We've got a Nightshade and a Light pushing on Live in the Kodiak. I think the Light managed to get a back shot on him and take a torso. Live is getting very beat up.
2-2 at this point.
Go either way.
Still a nail biter. Perko getting a kill. Smallbag get back and forth kills here. 3-3 at this point. This Nitro at 48%. Pete getting a kill on that Direwolf. Huge hit. 5 kills for OMC at this point. 6 kills. Spudshed down to just their Ferret and Jenner at this point.
Pete is doing a lot of work. He took Pete Zoni took a really good position with that Nightshade and was hiding behind a rock out of most sight lines and, from Spudshed, and really just went to town on each mech as it walked into his line of fire.
Better New on his own, moving around in that Ice Ferret yet again, sticks out that Nightshade, loses his arm down to 1 small pulse laser. I think we've got a theme here with Better New ending up being the last mech, trying to do some damage to this Nightshade. Unfortunately, it's just not going to be enough to win this fight for him. Again, great receiving of the brawl by the Cheapskates. Spudshed pushing forward, getting stalled out by that Stormcrow. Ultimately, I believe that is what ended up costing them this match. Better New doing a hell of a job staying alive, trying to get damage, and Pete, again, coming in with another kill.
Well done to the Cheapskates.
Very well done.
Good rotation from that Delta 6 hill in the south to rotate north. They did that at the exact right time and made it work for them.
All right, talk to us about the kills here. We got 8 kills from the Cheapskates, 3 kills by Spudshed. What do we see on the scoreboard?
So I mentioned Pete Zoni being in a perfect position in that night year and just went to town, and it shows on the scoreboard being top damage for OMC. 700 and nearly 750 damage and 3 kills. He had a great position in that fight and was able to go relatively unharassed because of that position and just shoot and kill stuff. So he did a great job. Serb did a good job as well. Kaku in the Mad 2C, I think, was down to 10% at one point. So that mech just tanks really, really well, and they used it to the damage soak and stall out the Spudshed push. There were some good performers down on Spudshed as well. The Ice Ferret with 500 damage. The Night Gears 550. Mr. Perko, M. Perko did very well as well. Relatively even damage spread. I think just Focus Fire cost them that match and pushing into that kill zone.
Absolutely. So here we are. Cheapskates up 3-1 versus Spudshed. Spudshed securing a little bit of reputation in that, up to 575. However, the Cheapskates with a commanding lead at 1,125 points. Spudshed still has a chance to win this last drop, getting them reputation points as the ranking in the season goes on. However, I do believe at this point that it is impossible for them to take this win, and Cheapskates will be our victor tonight. That being said, it is a season. There are still many weeks left, so it's going to be very exciting to see Spudshed go all out on this last drop. Val, walk us through what we saw unfold in that map.
So we saw the heavier mechs from the Cheapskates in Charlie spawn and move up and take positions on this Echo 6 Delta 6 hill. They were able then to shoot at the heavier mechs from Spud Shed as they advanced down this line through the open. It can be a bit of a 50-50 game as to who's got better aim, because as you're walking through that area, you're kind of taking a power position and just shooting anyone that pokes up. I feel that OMC had the advantage trading there, and then they rotated out away from that position as Spud Shed got close. So what they ended up doing is they set a mech over here, which I think was live in the Kodiak. They had the Marauder set up here. They had that Pete Zoney was eventually ended up over here. But they had some mechs set up with their brawlers in here and waited for Spud Shed to rotate up through here and then push over that ridge. And when they pushed over that ridge, the mediums and brawlers and lights pushed in this direction and stalled out Spud Shed's push, while the heavier mechs went to town and basically set up a kill zone and shot them and won the fight in this section of the map. That's pretty much what happened, and Pete Zoney, I think, did a great job.
Yeah, I want to call out that Stormcrow too. I think getting the Direwolf and Kodiak both to turn to deal with that Stormcrow was, in my opinion, the pivotal move in that game. Had the Direwolf and Kodiak continue to advance forward, I do believe that Spudshed would have had a better chance. To your point, it was a solid, decisive firing line by the Cheapskates. However, with that firepower focused forward and not losing their percentage points, Spudshed could have turned it at that point.
Yep, that's fair.
All right, we will go to drop 5 in just a second. It is time for another giveaway. We're giving away 500 MC, courtesy of PGI and RJ Base 3. RJ Base 3 did 2 giveaways on his stream yesterday, or many giveaways. I was able to secure 2 of those giveaways, and the 500 MC codes that I won, I'm giving away tonight. We will continue to be doing giveaways throughout the season. So again, tune in for the fantastic mech action. Tune in to support MechWarrior Online, MRBCLeague.com, and PGI. But also tune in to get some free stuff. Who doesn't like free stuff? I like free stuff. All right, let's get into the giveaway. You like free stuff, Val?
I love free stuff. Do I get anything for free?
Maybe. We'll talk.
Woo!
Really appreciate your help tonight, man. You're really adding a +1 to this cast. I have to reload.
Fun. I enjoy it.
I have to reload that because I took out a different L. There's another person that leads with L.
How many viewers are we up to at the moment?
We are up to, last I checked, we were just over 60. We are at 62 viewers.
Sweet.
All right, we are rolling here, guys. 500 MC. Winner, please make sure to send a message to us, Switchblade, so I can get you that code. Let's do this. Krenix winning 500 MC. Krenix, please send a message through Twitch to us, Switchblade, so that I can get you that 500 MC code. Krenix, CRENUX, Krenix. All right, so we are moving into drop 5, Grim Plexus Conquest. Center of battle and engagement. This is where all the chips are on the table, and the teams move forward with 2 lights, 2 heavies, and 4 assaults. Potentially 400 tons in that bracket alone. Max of any one chassis, 1 duplicate allowed. Again, you could have 2 Kodiaks, but you could not also have 2 Warhammers on the same team. Bonus is to destroy the enemy assault mechs. You can lose all of your assault mechs, giving up the bonus to the team, but your objective is to secure the conquest points, get to 750, destroy all 8 mechs, and kill the enemy assault mechs. Val, walk us through what we see teams doing on this and maybe what you expect to see from these 2 teams tonight.
Okay, so there's lots of options on Grim Plexus. It's almost an exact mirror match halfway through the map. If teams are smart, I watched BSK versus S-Rock game the other week, which is a North American Div A game, and you can brawl on this map, even with 4 assaults. If you're smart with your picks, they ran double Gargoyle and an Executioner, so you can actually close an enemy very quickly. So you can still brawl with 4 assaults, although it's probably not something you will see typically. I guess there's a couple of different ways to approach it. We saw our way to approach it the other night was to control these 3 caps. But you will often see people going, instead of those 3 caps, you will often see people, if for Team 2, they will try and control, say, these 3 caps by moving down this way, setting up either on this hill or in these buildings here. And then for Team 1, it's kind of the similar thing. Another option is to control Theta Epsilon Gamma and setting up in roughly the same place. And you will typically see battles happen in this middle section of the map. It looks like a bit of a Mr. Squiggle drawing, but I hope people can understand what's going on there.
That's amazing. That's Picasso. Didn't I say that all children are artists? So maybe you're just embracing the child inside. I would like to point out too, though, again, maybe shameless plug, but we also employed the brawl strat on this map last week in our match against BTD. I do think that Grim Plexus with the wide caps is a map that lends itself to forcing poke decks to move into a brawl if the brawl team is able to get that cap advantage. It's the brawl game in this map, in my opinion. There's 2 ways to take it. You've got the patient game, forcing the poke deck to move against you, or the super aggressive W for victory, S for suck. Don't stop until you find the enemy max. So I think either strategy can work on this map. However, to your point, what we'll see in a much higher percentage from teams is poke decks on this map. All right, we've got both teams ready to go. Both teams ready to go, so we will go into the lobby and we will drop this Crash and Burn Mech Warriors. If you're just joining us, welcome to the final game, Week 1, Division A, Asia Pacific, Spudshed versus the Cheapskates. Cheapskates currently up 3-1 with a significant reputation lead over Spudshed. Thanks again to PGI for MechWarrior Online. Thanks to MRBCLeague.com, twitch.tv/MRBCLeague, twitch.tv/MRBCLeague2 for making this possible. Thanks to my co-caster Val. Thanks to Spudshed and the Cheapskates for showing up. And thanks to our 64 viewers that we hit tonight or this morning, depending upon where you're on the world, for joining and watching this fantastic shoutcast.
64 viewers on an Easter Sunday for Asia Pacific is pretty damn good.
We will take it for sure. Both dropships hovering in the distance, waiting for them to come in so we can get these loadouts on these mechs. Val, calling it now. What do you think? How's this going to unfold? Who's going to bring this home?
I would really like to see Spudshed pull off a win. They've had a few games go the other way, so it'd be nice to have this a little bit closer, and then in the rematch of games they can try and go 3-2 the other way.
Absolutely. No bias here. I do happen to share unit mates with some of the Spudshed guys. I would like to see, more than anything, a 3-2 game. I like these close games. Spudshed dropping in. We've got Kodiak 3, Marauder 2C, Nightjar, Direwolf, Arctic Cheetah, Jenner 2CA, Kodiak 3, and Linebacker. So doubling up on the Kodiaks as anticipated for a 4 Assault Mac. What do we have on Cheapskates?
For the Cheapskates, they've doubled up on the Mad 2Cs, which I'm guessing will be Gorse Peeps, but I'll have to go in and check them in a minute. But two Mad 2Cs, a Kodiak, and a Stalker with Serb. So I imagine that 3H Stalker will be ER Large Laser. He does love his Stalkers. We have a Grasshopper 5P with Live and a Nightjar for our heavies. And rounding it out, we have here and Ranger Dave in an Arctic Cheetah and Jenna 2C.
Fantastic. Looks like we've got Cheapskates diving in on Theta immediately. Spudshed securing Gamma, sending up 2 mechs towards Epsilon. Now we've got Cheapskates also securing Kappa. So we've got a 2-1 cap advantage to Cheapskates at this point, going to give them their early cap advantage. However, Spudshed's moving to secure that second cap quickly on Epsilon. The bulk of the forces from Cheapskates moving towards the Fox 6 Space Needle Hill. Meanwhile, we've got to the southeast, the Spudshed team advancing up to looks like the Golf 7 position on the southern end of the buildings and the hill in the middle. First blood goes to, looks like Cheapskates getting some large laser hits on that Jenner 2C.
The 2 Mad Cs were 2 Gorse, 1 PPC. One looks like it's running a standard engine from Small Baguette, moving very, very slowly in the mid-50s, and Kaku is running up closer to 70, so that'll be an XL engine.
It's Cheapskates taking the high ground position in Fox 6, holding the ground. Meanwhile, we've got Spudshed continue to advance around the southeast corner of the map. PVC fire being exchanged by both teams back and forth. No hit secured there. However, a slight damage advantage to Cheapskates at this point with 2 mechs sub 100 on the Spudshed side.
So this looks like to me that Spudshed are moving in to try and control Epsi, Sigma, and Gamma, and they're going to try and hold that low ground, or the high ground around Epsi, or the low ground just in front of it, and force the Cheapskates to move in towards them. Cheapskates are on the Fox 5 hill at the moment because that is a great place to shoot from, but it doesn't offer a lot of cap control. As we see, they can control Theta from that, but that's about it. So it looks like they are moving to respond. You've got a couple of mechs from the Cheapskates moving north towards Sigma and taking some wider angles.
Yeah, the Jetta 2C Ranger Dave cutting out wide to try to move up towards Sigma. We've got the 3 mechs from Spudshed moving away from that back towards their main body. Now we've got an Arctic Cheetah and a Grasshopper moving towards Sigma as well. Meanwhile, the rest of the Cheapskates continue to hold their position on the Space Needle Hill as declared, and we've got the bulk of the Spudshed forces down low near Epsilon trying to maintain that 3 cap advantage and force OMC or the Cheapskates to make a move.
M. Perko is running 3 ER peeps in his Man 2C for Spudshed, which is an interesting build.
Some long-range PPC fire being sent down towards those 3 mechs on the eastern side of the map. We've got the Cheapskates moving in to secure Sigma at this point with 3 mechs. I think they anticipated to find the enemies there because that's quite a number of forces to send. It looks like this Grasshopper is setting up maybe an overwatch position to protect his 2 lights as they secure. Missed PPC shots from, looks like, Wolfspine in his linebacker. Grasshopper now moving forward to put down some ER large laser fire. They're able to, they haven't secured Sigma yet, but it looks like they're going to decap it and maybe run, maybe full cap it. Here comes Live in that Grasshopper to put down fire.
I think they're going to try and cap it. Now, this is the issue we have with the linebacker protecting that point. If a light's dancing around, it's very hard to hit with PPCs at long range.
Oh, great hit from Live, hitting 9% damage on Wolfspine. Wolfspine down to 90%. Here comes the other 2 lights from Spudshed now looking to get back in the fight and protect their linebacker. Here in the Cheetah moving forward, maybe to brawl up line and slow him down. Kato setting up on the corner. Cheetah looks like he's going to turn and run. Looks like the Cheapskates are moving back to secure their position just north of Theta.
Now, if they did have an ER large mech, Wolfspine Vickers would have had a much easier time protecting that cap. They probably wouldn't have lost it. So
Right.
It might be a little bit of a tactical error on Spudshed's side for this particular strategy.
The bulk of the Spudshed force is just holding right at the Epsilon Hill. Looks like the 3 mechs on Spudshed, the 2 lights and the linebacker are going to try to re-secure Sigma, waiting to see in those Cheapskate mechs move away from the cap point before they do so. Cheapskates made a little bit of an advance down on the through the 2 towers here, the riverbed. We've got a few mechs that have moved forward off of the hill. The rest of the mechs moving up to the cusp of the hill now. Good PPC exchange fire, not a lot of damage, but we are seeing some hits.
At this point, I think Spudshed will have to be having a bit of a talk and a bit of a think amongst themselves as to how they can go about winning this match, because what they're doing right now isn't working for them, so they need to make some adjustments.
Good hits against that Grasshopper. Live down to 90%.
Both the Kodiaks, I'm pretty sure, are DACA Kodiaks, so they will have a bit of punch if they start pushing forward.
And we are seeing the advanced Spudshed moving up towards the hill now. Looks like they're going to put down that firing line. Lights are cutting off to the right, maybe trying to draw some fire away. Here comes the bulk of the Spudshed forces moving to the top of the hill in the center.
Let's see some strikes go down, guys. Use those strikes if you got them.
Airstrikes from either team would be great at this point, right? Cheapskates with a cap lead at this point. 3-2 caps captured and a point lead. Good PPC fire from Spudshed. Pete Zone down to 97%. Small Blade at 93%. Wolfspine still at 85%. Ash taking some fire, and that Kodiak down to 90%.
You know, if they were sneaky, they could send in Spudshed's Unending Menace. They could send that Cheetah around to take Kappa off them. Because at the moment, he's just hanging wide on the flank, not really doing too much. He could go and take another cap point back.
Good airstrike by Cheapskates on Spudshed. Live doing some significant damage to Imperco in that Marauder 2C from the right-hand side there. Spudshed deciding to pull back away from the top of the hill with the bulk of their mechs. The 2 Kodiaks, or Kodiak and something else, cutting around to the left. No, it's the Kato and Unending Menace in the lights cutting around to the left.
They really need that cap point. Points are ticking over very quickly. They've been spotted, unfortunately, so they can't quite make it there unspotted. So Cheapskates will know what they're doing and that they were thinking about heading to Kappa.
Cheapskates with a commanding map presence, cap point lead. Spudshed with that faltered attempt to hold the top or try to push Cheapskates off the hilltop. I do think that's going to end up costing them. They should have really held their ground instead of backing off there. Live doing a great job of moving them off of that hill with that one position on the left. Keep an eye on that going forward.
Time is ticking. Cheapskates are now up to 550 caps or thereabouts, and the time pressure is being applied. If I were Spudshed, I would be thinking that time is running out and I really need to make a play.
The two lights from Spudshed moving into the backfield, likely trying to get these mechs to turn so that the rest of Spudshed can move forward. Kato and Unending Menace moving in now. Good airstrike hits. We got a 71% down on that Stalker. Kerber's down at 66%. These lights are probably going to be able to burn him out. However, the Cheapskates lights are turning to respond.
Those lights did a really good job of distracting the main body. One has dropped, Unending Menace has dropped in the cheetah, but they did a good job of turning OMC around and providing a distraction and pulling the Cheapskates lights back away from Spudshed's main body.
I don't think it was going to be enough, though, because the Cheapskates mechs have turned to respond, and now we do have impressive downward-facing fire from Cheapskates. Mecker Vickers going down again. Cheapskates still up 8-5 at this point. Ash going down in that Kodiak 3.
And there's a lot of damaged mechs from the Cheapskates. It just, the focus fire just wasn't quite there. We've got one down at 28, 137, one on 60%.
Live bringing down Perko and Kato. We are 8-3 at this point.
There's just one way too far in Cheapskates' way. They're going to take another win here. It's just whether or not that win will be a flawless victory.
Pete bringing down Emiratus. Wolfspine trying to move up behind that Kodiak. Maybe he'll get the kill. Wolfspine going down from Rommel B. Flawless victory from Cheapskates. 8-0. Bringing home the win. 4 matches, 4 drops to 1 drop from Spudshed with a significant reputation point advantage. Good game by both teams. I like that approach that Spudshed did. Unfortunately, Cheapskates was able to hold the high ground, put out that fire, and bring home the win. Val, what do we see on the scoreboard?
On the scoreboard, we see Kaku and Serve really putting in the work, along with Pete and Live again. Live did play a pretty pivotal role in that Grasshopper, taking that point, putting fire on Wolfspine Vickers. And I'm not sure which light was dancing around in that Sigma point up the top, but he did a good job as well. On Spudshed's side, the damage is relatively close together, which is good, but they just didn't focus fire enough and just made that pivotal mistake with that linebacker. Even if you take that linebacker, just put ER large lasers on it. It's certainly not ideal, but it would have been able to hold that cap point much easier.
Great breakdown yet again from my friend here. Folks, stick around. We're going to do a post-match map strat review here. Then we'll go into a drawing, and then we're going to do an interview with Live and Becker Vickers from the Spudshed team. So let's get back into the lobby, bring up the map strat tool. MRBC Season 9, Division A, Week 1. Cheapskates securing the victory. 4 drops to 1 drops from Spudshed. 1475 reputation for Cheapskates to the 575 from Spudshed. Great game by both teams. Val, walk us through what happened on that map.
Okay, so what we had on that map was from Spudshed, they wanted to try and hold that this half of the map split down here. They wanted to try and hold Sigma, FC, and Gamma and place their main body in and around that Fox 8, Golf 8 area and bring the Cheapskates in towards them. What was pivotal in this fight was that when OMC, and I should call them Cheapskates, when they set up on this hill, they then made a play for Sigma. And when they made that play for Sigma with their Grasshopper and a light, Wolfspine Vickers in that linebacker, as he was here, was having a very hard time hitting the Cheapskate mech on Sigma. And what that meant is they were able to remove that cap point. OMC were able to, or Cheapskates were able to leave their Grasshopper there with ER larges, which meant that Spudshed couldn't take Sigma back because the large lasers or ER large lasers would be able to stop any cap on Sigma, and it put them in a very, very tricky spot. They were left in a position that they had to charge that Fox 6 hill, which is a very, very strong Overwatch position, and the time pressure got to them on the clock as they were trying to decide, and it kind of went downhill from there.
Great breakdown yet again, Val. Congratulations to both teams for a fight well done, putting on a great show for our audience tonight. Appreciate everyone being here. We do have in the room with us now live and Mecker Vickers live from the Cheapskates, Mecker Vickers from Spud Shed. Let's go ahead and start out with live. Live, as the night unfolded, did you guys ultimately end up staying with the strategy that you had pre-planned, or did you sort of change it based upon what you saw Spud Shed doing in response to your moves?
No. So we were staying to our game plan. In the past, when we've tried to change our plan to another team, we've ended up just getting raped, and so we're trying to stick to our game plan and just improve on that this season.
Fantastic. So in that that game there with the Grasshoppers, the last game on Grim Plexus with the lasers that you were firing, that position on the left hand side, is that something you have tried out previously? Because I got to tell you, man, that in and of itself, I think, is what stalled out the Spud Shed push across the top of the hill into you guys.
Pretty much, we knew that they were going to go those 3 caps from their lancers. So obviously we've been trying to play more aggressive on the flanks and get a cap advantage. So we called it early that if they go over there, the Grasshopper will go with the 2 lights and try to push them back. Force them to push us.
Going back to drop 2 then on HPG Manifold, the 2 lights versus the 2 light situation. Any thoughts or comments on that? Because I really think that was maybe well, there's no maybe about it. That was definitely the turning point on that drop. What were your thoughts going on at that time?
Yeah, we kind of got the jump on the Spider. He didn't really see us coming. He popped up on Seismic, and we just followed him until we found the Jenner and tried to beat him 2v1. Them having a Spider and we're having a Jenner and an Arctic Cheetah, we knew we could win the battle even if it was 2v2. So we were quite happy once that happened. We were in a bit of a trouble until that happened. So
the Mad seems to be trading reasonably closely on that HPG from the percentages, but you felt you were sort of losing those trades, did you?
Not losing the trade, just we were stuck underneath and couldn't really go anywhere. The guys, only 1 or 2 were, their percentages were low, but there was just a lot of spread damage. So we're still confident that we could out-trade them. But if we lost the caps on the outside, it would have been a lot harder.
Correct.
Mecker, for you guys, again, good showing tonight. Appreciate you guys coming in and bringing your all even to the very last. That push on Caustic Valley where the Stormcrow came in, what was going through your head as you guys pushed around the right side of the caldera there into the line of the Cheapskates?
We basically just wanted to get a line on them. That push didn't really work out how we wanted it to. It was a mistake bringing the Direwolf and probably starting in Charlie Lance. It was a bit too slow to get up to that Echo 6, Delta 6 hill where we thought OMC would set up. And that's where they initially set up, so we wanted to try and push on them there as fast as we could. But we ended up being far too slow and had to go over past the caldera, at which point we just had poor focus fire, I thought, and probably too damaged at that point to bring it back anyway.
Let's go back to drop 1 and talk about were you guys setting up around the alpha generator for the other team. Meanwhile, the Cheapskates had set up on the Echo 6 ridge there. You guys were within 400 meters at that point. What was the delay? And then as you pushed across, were you guys worried pushing into what appeared to be a poke deck from the Cheapskates as they backpedaled and tried to draw you in?
We were a little bit worried, yeah. We expected them to come at us, as most teams do on the first drop with the lights and mediums. Most teams tend to brawl, so we expected them to come at us. So when we saw them down a little bit lower, we hesitated a little bit and wanted to just group up and make sure we knew what we were doing before we pushed and didn't make a mistake. So I felt we did that push pretty well going across there, and I feel like OMC was sort of just a little bit slow backing up, so that's where we got the advantage there.
And as you guys progressed through the evening, did you change anything that you had initially planned for as you saw the responses that Cheapskates were putting to the matches?
No, we didn't really change any plans. Similar to what Live said earlier, when we've done that in the past in previous seasons, it hasn't really worked out for us because we haven't thought about those plans really well. So we didn't really change anything up tonight.
Well, gentlemen, Live, do you have anything you want to say to the viewers or anyone out there in closing? Any last thoughts?
No, but thank you, Spud, for the game. It was great fun.
Mecker, how about you? Anything you want to say to the viewers, anyone out there watching as closing thoughts?
Yeah, thanks for the games. GG.
All right, fantastic. Hang around, guys. We're going to do a drawing for an island, and then we're going to do one more special drawing because we are still sitting at over 70 viewers through the post-game interviews.
Wow.
We hit a total of 75, which for an Easter Sunday AP is definitely something to be celebrated, all those folks watching. So let's get into the drawings. Guys, really appreciate the drops tonight. Thanks again to both Spudshed and the Cheapskates. Here we are, guys. Season 9, the AP Division A, Week 1. Cheapskates bringing it home 4-1. 1,475 reputation points to the 575 from Spudshed. Appreciate both teams coming out. Mecker and Live, crash and burn, Mech Warriors.
Cheers, guys.
All right, let's get into this giveaway then. So first up is the Island Cockpit item. Again, it is a exclusive cockpit item. We will get those secured to the pilots. It might take a little bit as I need Bombadil to inject those into those accounts. We are adding all the viewers from the MRBC League channel. Removing myself from that list. And we are rolling for the Island Cockpit item. Kincaid underscore, send L Switchblade a Twitch message, please, so that I can get your in-game name and get Bombadil to hook you up with that Island Cockpit item. Folks, we are at 69 viewers. We're going to do one more giveaway. This is the giveaway of the night. Please, both teams, Mecker and Live, get your pilots into the Twitch lobby. We are doing a standard Roughneck Mech Pack giveaway. A standard Roughneck Mech Pack giveaway. Please have everyone get in the lobby. We'll add these names in about 5 seconds. While I write this stuff down, Val, any thoughts of the match tonight that you want to just talk about?
Yeah, I think execution was very good overall by the Cheapskates. I think they definitely deserved to win that 4-1. They had better execution of their plans and possibly on some of those maps better game plans as well, and just thought about the contingencies as well, as we saw on that Grim Plexus match. They knew what to do when the 3 cap had been taken on that eastern side of the map. So overall, I was relatively impressed with OMC's performance.
All right, here we go, folks. 4. We're gonna wait another 10 seconds, and we'll load in the lobby. This is for the Roughneck Standard Mech Pack. I personally picked this pack up as soon as it came out. It is a beautiful mech. I definitely think with its hard points being as high up as they are, that you're going to see this mech in some competitive play as soon as it's available for C-bills.
It does appear to have some very high mounts.
Huge appreciations to everyone that came out. I know it's an Easter Sunday. The dedication to this game, our community, is just fantastic and phenomenal. That's why we're deciding to give away this Roughneck Standard Mech Pack. Thanks again to PGI for developing MechWarrior Online, making this available to us. MRBCLeague.com, twitch.tv/MRBC League, twitch.tv/MRBC League 2. Huge appreciations to Spudshed and the Cheapskates for coming out, and Val, my co-host, for joining me this early morning in the U.S. Let's get this roll going. Roughneck Standard Mech Pack. Rolling the dice. Here we go. And Ash of Spudshed winning the mech pack. The rig is in. The rig.
Redraw.
All right.
Ash, well done.
So that was the last giveaway. Let's just go through a couple of post-game wrap-up things here. So first off, let's look at the upcoming shoutcasts that are happening this week in MRBC League. tonight was Spudshed versus the Cheapskates. Coming up on the 20th of April at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Raging Banana on MRBC League, twitch.tv/MRBC League, will be hosting Osiris versus the 228 IBR Blackwatch. That is a North American Division A match. That is going to be quite the match. I encourage everyone to turn out and watch that. I will be casting with my co-host Batman2213 the Stormbringers versus the First Free Worlds Guards. That's a Division E1 match on the 20th of April at 9 Eastern. I'll be hosting that over on probably MRBC League 2 because they're occurring at the same time. And then coming up next Friday, the 21st of April at 10 Eastern, RJ Base 3 will be hosting Kong Interstellar Security Solutions versus my unit, the 54th Mechanized Regiment. That is a Division C North American match. Should be quite the show. Kong bringing home Division D last season significantly over the teams. It should be a good match to watch, so please turn out and check out the upcoming cast, support the league, support MechWarrior Online, and continue to keep this community going. One last thing to look at here, we've got the standings and the overall upcoming matches, as well as the completed matches that have occurred over the last 3 or 4 days. So again, I want to thank my co-host, Val, coming out and helping tonight, and everyone for being in the lobby and watching us through this. Huge appreciations to everyone for a great time. Val, any closing comments?
It was just a hell of a lot of fun. I enjoy casting, and I'm hoping to do it again very soon, guys. And thanks to all the viewers. Getting up to nearly 75 viewers at one point in time is just amazing. That's great.
Well, folks, that's it for us. We're going to call it a wrap. Thank you very much for a fantastic evening. Mech Warriors, crash and burn.